Welcome to Mitten Kitchen. I'm Amy, and today we are making seafood fish stock and we're canning it. So it's gonna be a really fun project today in the kitchen. I've never done this before, but my thought process is we can really use this stock when it comes to making shrimp risotto or some other like seafood chowder. So really excited to get this on the can shelf. And I'm excited that you're gonna be in the kitchen with me today, so join along with me. This is the night before, and I had just bought this roaster pan at the store. In the freezer, I kept a freezer bag full of lobster tails, and it was time to use them up. I also had this fish bone and head and tail from a meal, actually the red snapper meal I had for the Disney meal that I cooked. And then these are just vegetable scraps that I do keep a bag in my freezer. This is some white wine, because why not? For the stock, it adds a lot of robust flavors. Adding in some garlic here as well. It's an easy way to add more flavor to the stock. And they just cook overnight. You add in some water, you get the veggies, the seafood stock and bones cooking away. I had never made seafood stock before, so this was really a fun time to try outside of like a bone broth that I've typically made. So I did enjoy this. You fill it up with water and then you just put the lid on overnight and it cooks and it smells at the house so beautifully for stock. It's the next morning. Whoa. It smells so good. This is gonna be really good like risotto. I have an appointment and then we're gonna come back and get this canned. We've been cooking our seafood stock overnight in our roaster pan. It smells heavenly. So I had some veggie scraps. I had a whole fish that has turned into bones. And then I had some like lobster tails to use up. I also added in some garlic here. So this stock is ready to go. The canner that I'm using, I use the electric Presto canner. It's very easy to use. And I have that now heating up. Now the one thing about this stock versus like a beef or a chicken that I noticed is there should be ultimately like no fat on the seafood, which makes sense, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and start canning this up into jars. Okay, so I've looked at all my bulk canning recipes and none of them indicate seafood stock, but I've Googled it and it seems pretty straightforward with stock. For pint size, which is what we're gonna be doing, is 20 minutes in the pressure canner. Now my canner can hold 7 jars, so we're gonna go ahead and prepare 7 jars. These are pint size wide mouth that I'm using here. 6 and 7. We'll get our rings out as well while we're at it. I just put these through the dishwasher. So they're ready to be used. Okay, so I can't find my canning funnel, so this one's gonna have to work. But what we're gonna do is gonna go ahead and just take our broth and we are gonna start to fill our jars. So I personally like to use pint size with these, and let me confirm the head space I need. Okay, I'm gonna need 1 inch. I have this nifty tool. We got a little bit more to go. Okay, let's see where we're at now. Should be close to 1 inch. A little bit more, it looks like. Okay, that one is perfect. That one's done. I like to use pint size. It's pretty versatile. You can use it fairly easily in recipes, right? So if we're gonna be planning on using this for like a risotto, this is a great size, whereas a quart might be just a little too large. Now, I would love to hear like what you use for seafood stock. You know, I'm always interested in new recipes. Perfect, so those are doing great. I'd love to hear, you know, what do you do when it comes to stock and broth? What kind of recipes do you use it for? You know, sometimes it's really expensive to buy this quality at the grocery store. It's nice, you can really control the flavors, what goes into it. Like I told you, I added some wine into this last night, so there's some white wine. With my beef broth, I always like to add some red wine, and so that's always a really nice flavor boost that, you know, in your grocery store, you just don't most likely find that. So we're doing really well with our head space here. Now what I do is I just like to take any sort of leftover bones and I put them in a freezer bag. The other thing that I do is with vegetable scraps. So when you are cutting your onion or you're peeling your carrots, it's a great way to reuse into a different product, right? Maybe you're using carrots in a salad and all of those scrapings, you can go ahead and get a second life out of them with your broth. That is our canner indicating that it is ready for its jars. And we are almost ready for it. So I got into canning really much this year. It's been a challenge every month, if you've been following my videos, for me to can something once a month. Something new, something out of the ordinary. So far, we have canned together some beans. We also canned together some lemon juice and some chicken broth. Beef broth, I'm sorry. Beef broth. It takes a while to get some chicken bones because chicken's really expensive right now too. And the last thing we canned together was barbecue sauce. I had some tomatoes left over and that was really great. I probably put a little bit too much in that one. Might need to take a little bit out. That's gonna take a while. I think it should be okay. So now we have seafood stock. And also, I'm making another video, I don't know which one we'll post first, is the onion jam. So really exciting to have some new items. One thing that I would love to do, and I will start doing this, is filming what I make with my canned items. I think some people are intimidated because they're like, well, what can I make with these canned goods? And so, for example, you know, beans are a great example. You can take the black beans that you canned and turn those into black bean burgers. With the pinto beans, you could turn those into refried beans. With beef broth, you can turn it into like a taco soup. You can also make some beef stroganoff with it. The lemon juice, I made a huge dinner for a group of friends. All Mediterranean, and so it was really great to be able to use a pint of lemon juice for all of the dishes, whether that was the chicken shawarma, the garlic dip, the hummus. It was fantastic. Unfortunately, I was so busy I forgot to film that dinner. It would have been a great video, but it was busy. There's a lot of things going on. And like I said with this one, this will be great for risotto. So in order to get my jars ready, I'm just taking a paper towel with some white vinegar and cleaning off the rims. This will ensure that if any of the juices got on there from filling, that they will not interfere with the sealing process. Now, one thing I would like to know also is I am very much a beginner canner, and I am learning around this journey as well. I love to watch different YouTube videos, different sort of books. I've got all the ball books and I read them like my nighttime stories, and they're great. They're really fun to, you know, read and think about. Now this is not Ball brand. I went to the store and all they had was Per brand. Are they the same company? I'm not sure. But I wish there was Ball. I love Ball. So yeah, just putting the lid on, and then you put the ring on, you know, tight enough so it's not too tight, but it's not loose enough. So there's a balance there. But essentially we are putting it on so the lid will not come off in the canning process. So it will hold it on, and then after 24 hours or so, you remove the rings for storage. It could create like a false seal if you leave the rings on. And our last one. Not too bad. We're gonna have some nice broth. Okay, we're gonna make and move these over to the canner. Okay, we're gonna move these over to the canner. The canner is ready. Remember, these are going to cook for 20 minutes on pressure. We'll just put those in just like that. Okay, we're gonna put these in for 20 minutes. Okay, time to put on our regulator. It gets a little hot, so I always take a hot pad and put it on. And there it is. And then you push the plus button, and now it's gonna start canning. That timer means our canning is officially cooled and ready to get out, and we can put our second batch in. We're gonna take the regulator off. I'm gonna put them over here on the towel that I have and slowly get them out of the canner. Sometimes this one's a little tricky because they're really tightly in there. So at this point, we're hoping that they all sealed, and then we're gonna fill this up with our next batch. So we'll probably, I don't know, maybe close to 20 jars, which is pretty exciting. To be able to have that amount of shelf-stable broth on your pantry, I always just think is a really awesome reward. And the food storage, you know, just kind of, there's so many options. Haven't heard any pop yet, so let's cross our fingers that they'll seal. Like I said, I've never used these Per jars before, so I'm hoping they're okay. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started on our next batch. Okay, put the lid on. And we'll see this again next time. Okay, the second batch is done. Now, the first batch is still not sealing. I'm nervous. I hope it does. Like I said, I've never used this Pure brand, so a little nervous about that. But I do have a few Ball brands in this batch now, so we'll see. And then we'll load our third batch. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen. Today we made 18 jars of seafood stock, which is just pretty impressive. This is gonna last like a year for sure. So I'm excited to see what we make in the kitchen with this stock. Risotto, who knows, chowder. It's gonna be interesting. They're the perfect size to just add a little bit more flavor to any dish. So I'm excited to go ahead and have these shelf-stable stock items, but 18 jars, so many. But thanks for joining me in the Mitten Kitchen today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. I love your support. And if you enjoy videos like this, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel. So I'll see you next time in the Mitten Kitchen. Bye everyone.